Maya always thought she was untouchable, living life like a reality show until one desperate choice turned her world upside down. The doctors said it was impossible. The money pouring from her mouth, the mysterious illness, the dark room where other women had been before her. By the time she realized what luxury had cost her, it was almost too late. Sit tight, besties, because this story is about to unfold in ways you never imagined. If you're enjoying Maya's story so far, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Drop a comment below telling us where you're watching from. Let's get to 1,000 comments. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our next story. Now, let's see what happens when Maya meets someone unexpected. Maya was the kind of woman who made people look twice. At 26, she was stunning, tall, graceful, and effortlessly stylish. She worked as a marketing coordinator in downtown Miami, but anyone who didn't know her would easily think she owned a luxury fashion empire. Maya carried herself like the soft life was her birthright, and nothing could convince her otherwise. But behind her elegant appearance was a dangerous weakness: shopping. Maya had a terrible spending habit. Wigs, shoes, handbags, clothes. As long as it sparkled or looked expensive, she wanted it. She didn't mind surviving on instant meals for days as long as a new designer handbag sat pretty in her closet. By the first week of every month, her salary was gone. Completely gone. And like clockwork, she would end up at her best friend Jessica's apartment, begging for a loan. "Maya, you just received your salary last week and you've spent everything already." "Madam Luxury," Jessica teased whenever Maya appeared at her door. Maya would simply laugh. "You know I have to keep up the lifestyle now." "Maya, reduce this spending habit for your own sake. You don't know what the future holds," Jessica would warn. But Maya only scoffed. "Forget about the future. I'll get a very rich boyfriend soon who will fund my lifestyle." One Monday morning, Maya strutted into the office wearing a beautiful outfit that looked brand new. Her heels clicked confidently against the polished marble floor as she walked in like a runway model. "Our luxury queen has arrived," one of her colleagues teased. Maya just smiled proudly and waved. Even though they all earned similar salaries, she carried herself like she was on a completely different level. As soon as she settled at her desk, she brought out her phone and began taking selfies for Instagram. Taking pictures was part of her daily routine. She never missed a day. In minutes, she posted the photo with the caption, "Office baddie." Around noon, her phone rang. It was Jessica. "Babe, let's go out for dinner tonight," Jessica said. Maya's eyes lit up instantly. Dinner at a fancy restaurant meant one thing: endless pictures and videos for her Instagram. "Yes, I'm in," she said with excitement. After work, Maya rushed home and spent hours trying on different outfits. Her room looked like a clothing store by the time she was done. Finally, she chose a stunning emerald green dress decorated with glittering silver stones. She twirled in front of her mirror, admiring herself. "Green is the real deal," she said, smiling proudly. She was ready for the night, ready for attention, and ready to show the world that Madam Luxury never missed a moment to shine. Jessica picked Maya up that evening, and as soon as Maya stepped into the car, Jessica gasped. "Girl, you look like someone going to their engagement party. You look gorgeous." Maya smiled proudly. "Thanks, honey. You look good too." They arrived at the fancy restaurant and settled into their seats. No sooner had they ordered than Maya leaned closer. "Please take some pictures of me," she whispered. Jessica didn't argue. If there was anything she knew about Maya, it was that her friend could not go a single day without taking pictures. She took several shots while Maya posed like a model on a runway. As they ate and laughed softly, Jessica suddenly paused. Her eyes widened as she stared toward the entrance. "Maya, see this fine man. Some people just know how to be fine anyhow," she whispered. Maya looked up and smiled as she saw him. Tall, handsome, well-dressed in an expensive navy suit. "We're staring too much," Maya whispered. "Let's pretend we didn't notice him." They both laughed quietly and continued their dinner. Just as they were getting ready to leave, The handsome stranger walked toward them. "Hello, ladies. How are you doing?" he said in a deep, calm voice. Jessica smiled politely, but she noticed something instantly. His eyes were fixed only on Maya. Her smile faded a little. "I don't usually do this," he said, still looking at Maya. "But I would have regretted it if I left here without saying hello." Maya's face lit up as she stretched out her hand. "I'm Maya." "I'm Ryan," he replied with a polite smile. He hesitated for only a moment before asking, "Can I take you out on a date sometime?" "That won't be bad," Maya replied, smiling softly. They exchanged numbers, and soon after, Jessica drove Maya home. "Good night, boo," Jessica said as she waved. Maya waved back happily. But deep down, Jessica wasn't thrilled that Ryan chose Maya over her. Still, she reminded herself that Maya was her friend, so she had to be happy for her. Later that night, as Maya lay on her bed scrolling through her phone, a message popped up. "Ryan. Hello, pretty." Maya blushed instantly, tossing around her bed like a teenager. They texted back and forth until she fell asleep with her phone still in her hand. The next day after work, Maya dressed up for her date with Ryan. She wore a beautiful white dress that hugged her figure perfectly. When Ryan arrived to pick her up in a sleek black Range Rover, Maya's heart fluttered. "This is it," she thought. "My dream of dating a rich man is finally coming together." Ryan took her to another fancy restaurant. They talked, laughed, and enjoyed their meal. And of course, Maya took endless pictures. Her phone was practically part of the experience. As the night went on, one thing became clear. Maya felt like she had stepped into the luxurious life she always dreamed of. After dinner that night, Ryan drove Maya home. From then on, they grew closer. Late-night calls, non-stop texting, and frequent dates. It didn't take long before Ryan asked her to be his girlfriend. Maya said yes immediately. She loved the attention, the gifts, and of course, the fact that he was rich. But as the relationship settled, Ryan began to notice something troubling. Maya's obsession with shopping. It wasn't about the money. Ryan could afford anything. The problem was the unnecessary things Maya bought. "Babe, I thought you already have a green handbag like this," Ryan said one day as they stood in an expensive boutique in Brickell city center. "No, babe. The one I have is mint green. This one is sea green. I really need it," she replied, pouting her lips. Ryan smiled weakly. Maya took that as a yes and continued shopping. "Green is green," Ryan muttered under his breath, but he didn't push it. He loved her deeply and wanted her to be happy, even if her happiness came in shopping bags. Their relationship blossomed. They were total opposites. Maya, loud, flashy, and dramatic. Ryan, quiet, steady, and always at his warehouses managing his import business. Still, he never complained. He spoiled her with wigs, shoes, jewelry, and accessories almost every week. One afternoon, while Maya was in Ryan's penthouse apartment looking for a misplaced bracelet, something caught her eye. A small velvet box tucked in a drawer. Curious, she picked it up. Her breath caught the moment she opened it. An engagement ring. She covered her mouth to stop herself from screaming. "So Ryan wants to propose to me," she whispered joyfully. Her mind immediately wandered to possibilities. A big fancy venue, a beach with petals everywhere, balloons, cameras, a trending Instagram moment. But then she frowned. Ryan likes simple things. He might just do a small engagement. No way. I must know the plan. My engagement must be the best Miami has ever seen. She rushed straight to the living room where Ryan was reading a business magazine. "Babe, I found the engagement ring," she said excitedly. Ryan's eyes widened. "Where did you find it? What were you looking for there?" "That doesn't matter," Maya said, still smiling. "But don't worry, I'll pretend I didn't see anything." "So what's the plan? Where are you proposing?" Ryan sighed. "I was planning to propose over dinner. Something simple. You know I get nervous with crowds, babe." No, I don't want anything simple. Don't worry, I'll plan the engagement myself. The next day, Maya visited Jessica. She couldn't hide her excitement as she announced, "Ryan wants to propose." Jessica screamed happily. "But wait, isn't a proposal supposed to be a surprise?" "Yes, but I found out," Maya replied casually. "It's fine." Then she leaned forward eagerly. "Do you know any big luxurious place we can use for the engagement party?" Jessica's eyes widened. "Are you planning your own engagement?" "Yes, I want it to be perfect and up to my standard," Maya said proudly. Jessica stared at her friend in disbelief as Maya continued talking non-stop about decorations, flowers, gold chairs, expensive decor, and how she wanted the engagement to be the biggest event Miami would ever witness. Maya had already taken over everything: plans, venue, and even how her own proposal should look. After weeks of loud preparations and endless arguments, Maya's engagement day finally arrived. The venue looked like a fairy tale: beautiful decorations, scented candles, soft lights, and a pianist and guitarist playing romantic music. Maya walked in, pretending to be shocked, even though she had planned every detail herself. Cameras flashed everywhere as if it was already her wedding. Ryan knelt down and proposed, and of course, Maya said yes. She immediately posted the photos and videos on Instagram, smiling proudly at the attention. She didn't notice Ryan's discomfort as bright camera lights flashed directly into his face. Wedding preparations began the following week. As expected, Maya wanted nothing but the best: luxury, glamour, and extravagance. She didn't bother to ask Ryan for his opinion. She hired 2 well-known event planners and demanded the most expensive designs. Ryan tried to talk to her about the costs. "Babe, this is too much. Let's cut down on expenses." Maya shook her head. "Babe, I'm a public figure. People are expecting a grand wedding. I can't disappoint them." She had no idea her loyalty was about to be tested. One Friday evening, Maya and Ryan were having dinner when Ryan's phone rang. The moment he answered, his face went pale. "What? What do you mean fire?" he shouted. "Babe, what's going on?" Maya asked anxiously, but Ryan didn't reply. He rushed out of the house and drove off before Maya could follow. When he arrived at the scene, thick smoke filled the air. 2 of his warehouses were burning uncontrollably. "I'm finished. I'm finished," Ryan cried as he fell to his knees. By the time he got home, he was broken, silent, trembling, and devastated. He sat on the couch, tears running down his face. "Babe, talk to me. What happened?" Maya begged. "My warehouses, Maya. They're gone. They burnt completely," he whispered. Maya screamed and collapsed on the floor. "Oh God, I'm finished. My enemies have succeeded. What will happen to my wedding? I'm doomed." Ryan stared at her quietly. In his darkest moment, her first thought was not him, but her wedding. That night, Ryan didn't sleep. Tears flowed until morning. Days passed quietly. Ryan stayed home, barely speaking or moving. The weight of his loss crushed him daily. One morning, he finally gathered strength and called Maya. "Babe, you've seen everything that has happened. I'm at my lowest now. I hardly have money to start again. For now, we need to postpone the wedding until I'm back on my feet." Maya fell to the floor in shock. "What will my fans say? Oh God, this can't be happening." Ryan stared at her, confused and hurt. His business had collapsed, and all Maya cared about was Instagram. "Babe, don't cry," he said softly. "By God's grace, I will rise again." But Maya said nothing. Her silence was louder than words. Months passed. Ryan went from office to office looking for a loan. He was rejected everywhere. He didn't have collateral big enough for the amount he needed. Defeated and exhausted, Ryan spent most days at home trying to figure out where his life went wrong. And slowly, Maya began to pull away. One evening, Maya returned from work and went to the kitchen to make dinner. Ryan walked up to her and asked quietly, "Babe, what are we having for dinner?" "Noodles," she replied without looking up. Ryan frowned. "Noodles again? We've had noodles for 4 days straight. You were home all day. Why didn't you make something else?" he said in a calm voice. Maya spun around angrily. "Ryan, please. I'm tired," she yelled and walked out of the kitchen. Ryan stood there, wondering if he had done something wrong. But that was just the beginning. Slowly, Maya grew irritated with everything he did. She sighed at him, snapped easily, and avoided him as much as she could. The woman who once couldn't get enough of his attention now treated him like a burden. One evening, Ryan approached Maya gently as she sat scrolling on her phone. "Babe, please, can you lend me $3,000 to sort out some bills? I'll pay you back soon." Maya looked up sharply. "I don't have that kind of money. But you received your salary yesterday." "And so what?" she snapped. "I used the money to pay for the handbag and shoes I took from my personal shopper." Ryan's face hardened. "Maya, you have so many shoes and bags already. Why waste money like this? Why do you lack self-control?" Those words set her off. Maya jumped to her feet. "It's my money. I can do whatever I want with it. Go and make your own money and stop using me to pour out your frustration. I'm not the one who burnt your warehouses." She stormed away. Ryan froze. Those words cut deeper than the fire that destroyed his business. He sank onto the couch, buried his face in his palms, and wondered what had happened to the woman he loved. Maya's behavior worsened. She started coming home very late, carrying expensive designer bags. She wore new perfumes, new jewelry, and always seemed distracted. One night, Ryan finally confronted her. "Babe, why are you coming home this late? And who is buying you all these expensive things?" Maya snapped instantly. "Ryan, you're not my father. You don't have the right to question me. I'm an adult. As long as you're under my roof, I deserve to know." "Then I'll just go back to my apartment." She cut him off and began to walk away. Ryan grabbed her hand gently. "Babe, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. I'm just scared of losing you. I love you," he pleaded. But Maya pushed him away and walked out. The next morning, Ryan woke up to an empty house. Maya was gone. Her things were gone too. His hands trembled as he dialed her number. She didn't answer. He called over and over. Still nothing. "I'm so stupid," he cried. "Why did I yell at her? I pushed her away." Desperate, he called Jessica. "Please help me talk to Maya. I know I messed up. Please just beg her to take my calls." "All right, I'll call her now," Jessica responded. Later that evening, Ryan drove to Maya's apartment. As he arrived, he noticed a sleek black Mercedes parked outside. He tried not to think too much about it. He knocked. No answer. He pushed the door gently. It opened. The apartment was quiet. "Maya," he called softly. No response. As he moved closer to her bedroom, he heard faint voices. He opened the bedroom door slowly, and the sight before him shook him to his core. Maya was in the arms of another man. "Maya!" Ryan shouted, his voice breaking. "How could you? After everything I did for you. And who is this man?" He stepped forward in anger, but Maya quickly blocked him. "What did you do for me that no one else has done?" she barked. "Ryan, it's over. I can't be stuck with a loser." She pulled off the engagement ring and threw it at him. "Leave now." Ryan's knees buckled. At that moment, Jessica walked into the apartment. "Maya, I've been trying to." She froze at the scene before her. "Maya, who is this guy?" Jessica asked, shocked. Ryan picked up the ring, looked at Maya one last time, and walked out quietly, shattered. Jessica turned to Maya with a stern face. "We need to talk. As soon as possible." The next day, Maya and Jessica sat quietly in a small cafe in Coconut Grove. "Maya, Why would you throw away what you had with Ryan for that guy? Jessica asked gently. Maya rolled her eyes. Jessica, if you called me here to preach, forget it. I'm done with Ryan, and that's final. And his name is Greg, not that guy. Jessica stared at her, confused. Maya, what has gotten into you? Maya smirked. Why are you acting hurt? You've always had an eye on Ryan. You should be happy I left him so you can have him. Jessica's mouth fell open. Maya, what? But Maya stood up and walked out without another word. For 4 days, Ryan didn't leave his house. He didn't eat. He didn't sleep. He just sat on his couch, replaying Maya's betrayal. How could she humiliate me like that after all I did for her? He cried. Was she always this materialistic? Was I just blinded by love? But one thing he decided, he wouldn't give up on himself. The next morning, he went to a wealthy friend to request a loan. After a long discussion, the man simply said, "I'll get back to you." Ryan knew what that meant. Another rejection. As he walked home defeated, a car honked repeatedly. He didn't even look up until someone shouted, "Ryan!" He turned. It was Jessica. "Get in," she called. When he sat down, she teased, "You look like a lost puppy." Ryan only sighed. "Come on," she said softly. "Let's go get lunch." He didn't argue. He hadn't eaten properly in days. At the restaurant, Jessica watched as he devoured his food. Her heart sank. "Where were you coming from?" she asked. Ryan wiped his mouth. Another loan rejection. "I need about 50,000 to start again, but nobody, not even my so-called friends, wants to help." Jessica inhaled slowly. "I could help. I can give 30,000. Start small. Build up again." Ryan shook his head immediately. "No, Jessica, that's too much. I can't take that from you." "You can take it as a loan," she insisted. "Pay me back when your business is stable." Ryan swallowed hard. "Thank you so much, Jessica. You don't know how much this means to me. Thank you for believing in me." Meanwhile, Maya was completely lost in the luxury Greg provided. She even quit her job because he always wanted her clothes. But she didn't know she was walking into something dark that would destroy her life. She noticed something strange about Greg. Every time he wanted to get intimate with her, he applied something on his private area. "Babe, what's that?" she once asked. "Just lubricant," he replied quickly. But the strong, strange smell didn't sit right with her. Still, she ignored it. Luxury had blinded her. She flaunted herself online, wearing new dresses with captions like, "Too bougie to settle for less." But soon, her body began to change. She began losing weight rapidly. Even though she ate constantly, her eyes looked dull. Her energy faded. Greg kept telling her she was beautiful, so she pushed her fears aside. Until one morning, everything changed. Maya woke up feeling sick. She ran to the sink, and what came out of her mouth made her scream. She was vomiting money mixed with red stains. Cash poured out uncontrollably as she cried in horror. Greg heard her scream and rushed in. The moment he saw the money, he smiled wickedly. "Finally," he whispered. He grabbed Maya roughly and dragged her into a small, dark room that smelled like death. "It's time for you to pay for everything I gave you," he said with a smirk. Maya's heart shattered. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she realized the painful truth. She had traded real love and genuine friendship for a trap she might never escape. Maya cried until she had no tears left. When she looked around the room, she saw women's clothes packed in one corner. That was when she realized the painful truth. She wasn't the first, and she probably wouldn't be the last. "God, what have I gotten myself into? This is the end of me," she whispered as fresh tears rolled down her cheeks. Days passed, and Maya continued to lose weight. Every morning, Greg walked into the room with a smile, not to help her, but to pack the money she had vomited. Maya grew so weak she could barely speak. She lay silently on the cold floor, praying for God to intervene. Meanwhile, life was beginning to turn around for Ryan. He used the money Jessica gave him to rent a small shop and order new goods. Not as much as he used to, but enough to start again. Jessica checked on him often, called him, encouraged him, and slowly, Ryan began to smile again. But Maya was fading away. Her skin had turned gray. Her bones were showing. Her voice was almost gone. She prayed for death, but even death didn't come. If only I had stayed with Ryan when he needed me. If only I listened to Jessica, I wouldn't have ended up like this, she whispered. One morning, Greg walked in, smiling as usual. He bent down with a bowl and started packing the money from the floor. You've brought me more money than anyone else, he said, smirking. Maya just stared at him with dull, lifeless eyes. She had no strength left to scream. One afternoon, as Maya lay stiff on the floor, she heard a woman's voice in the apartment. Her heart began to race. Greg was never home at that time, which meant the lady was alone. Using the last strength in her body, Maya crawled to the door and tapped weakly. No response. She hit the door again. Harder. At first, nothing. Then footsteps. Is someone in there? The woman asked, her voice shaking. Yes. Please help me, Maya whispered. The woman tried the door, but it was locked. She looked around and noticed a key on the bedside drawer. She picked it up, opened the door, and almost collapsed from the smell that rushed out. Maya was lying on the floor, barely alive. Please help me. Get me out before he comes back, Maya begged. The woman panicked. She wanted to run away. Everything inside her said, leave. This is dangerous. But she couldn't leave Maya there to die. She lifted Maya, who felt as light as a child, and carried her out of the apartment, her heart pounding in fear. So this is what that man would have done to me too, she whispered as tears rolled down her face. She stopped a taxi and rushed Maya to the hospital. As soon as Maya was admitted, the woman ran away quietly. She didn't want to get involved or answer questions, but deep down, she knew she had saved a life that day. Maya spent weeks at the hospital, but instead of getting better, she kept fading away. Her sickness wasn't medical. It was spiritual. The doctors did everything they could, yet nothing worked. One evening, the doctor gently told her to consider seeing a spiritual healer, but Maya was exhausted. Deep inside, she knew only God could heal her. So she decided to go home and make peace with everyone she had hurt. With trembling hands and tears rolling down her cheeks, she called Jessica. It had been months since they last spoke. Jessica, now engaged to Ryan, was shocked to see Maya's name on her phone. Maya weakly told her where she was. Without wasting a second, Jessica and Ryan rushed to the hospital. When they saw Maya, they froze. Jessica covered her mouth in horror. Maya, what? What happened to you? She cried. Ryan stood like a statue, his heart breaking at the sight before him. Maya looked like a shadow of her former self, skinny, pale, weak, and tired of fighting. Through tears, Maya told them everything. The luxury, the lies, Greg, the sickness, all of it. Where is Greg now? Jessica asked, crying so hard her voice shook. The police went to his house, but he was gone, Maya whispered. Together, they took Maya home, just as she requested. In her sitting room, she looked up at the two people she had once hurt deeply. I'm so sorry, Maya cried. I was blinded by material things. I said awful things to both of you. Please, please forgive me. Jessica and Ryan looked at her, weak, broken, humbled. They couldn't hold on to anger anymore. Life had already humbled her more than any words could. Forgiveness came with tears and quiet nods. From that day, Jessica took Maya to church every Sunday. She invited her to prayer meetings and fellowship. Maya surrendered her life to Christ, seeking forgiveness and peace. Every day she prayed, Lord, forgive me. Even if you don't heal me, please accept my soul when I pass on. But God is a God of mercy. Slowly, Maya began to regain strength. First, she sat up without help. Then she started walking again. Her skin brightened. Her eyes regained life. And little by little, she came back. Jessica brought food, groceries, and always stayed to keep her company. Months passed, and one morning, Maya looked in the mirror and saw the impossible. She was whole again. Tears of joy flowed freely down her cheeks. Maya fully recovered and even joined Jessica in planning her wedding to Ryan. It was emotional, healing, and beautiful. On the wedding day, Maya stood among the guests as Jessica walked down the aisle, glowing like a queen. Ryan's eyes never left her. Maya smiled through her tears. They were always meant for each other, she whispered to herself. Maybe God used me to help them see it. Maybe that was my purpose all along. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she clapped for the couple. Tears not of sadness, but of gratitude. She had fallen. She had risen. And she had finally found peace. Maya's life teaches us that the pursuit of material things can blind the heart, leading us to lose sight of what truly matters. Love, humility, gratitude, and integrity. No amount of luxury is worth sacrificing your dignity, your relationships, or your soul. When our priorities become shallow, we risk falling into traps that disguise themselves as blessings. Life will humble anyone who exalts themselves, and life will lift anyone who stays humble. Maya learned this lesson the hard way. For years, she believed that her worth was measured by the designer labels she wore, the expensive dinners she posted online, and the envious looks she received from strangers. She thought happiness could be bought with a credit card and that love was something you could trade for luxury. But life taught her differently. Beauty fades. Wealth disappears. Pride destroys. But character, kindness, and faith will always endure. When Maya was at her lowest, lying on that cold floor in Greg's apartment, she had plenty of time to think about her choices. She remembered every warning Jessica had given her. She remembered Ryan's patience, his love, his willingness to give her everything even when he had nothing. She remembered how she threw it all away for temporary pleasures. The clothes she bought are now old. The bags she couldn't live without are now forgotten in her closet. The Instagram posts that once gave her validation are now just embarrassing reminders of her misplaced priorities. But the relationships she damaged? Those took years to rebuild. The trust she broke? That required genuine transformation. Maya realized that true wealth isn't found in a bank account or a shopping mall. True wealth is found in the people who stand by you when you have nothing. True wealth is found in the peace that comes from living with integrity. Jessica and Ryan could have walked away. They had every right to. Maya had hurt them both deeply. She had mocked their love, dismissed their concerns, and chosen a stranger's money over their genuine care. But they chose forgiveness. Not because Maya deserved it, but because they understood something Maya was just learning. We all make mistakes. We all get lost sometimes. And sometimes, the greatest gift we can give someone is a second chance. Ryan's business slowly recovered. With Jessica's loan and his determination, he rebuilt what the fire had destroyed. But this time, he was wiser. He saved more, spent less, and never forgot the lesson that nothing in life is guaranteed. Jessica found in Ryan what Maya had overlooked, a man of integrity, patience, and genuine love. Their relationship wasn't built on Instagram posts or luxury dinners. It was built on mutual respect, shared values, and the kind of love that grows stronger through hardship. And Maya? She became a different person. She got a new job, this time in a non-profit organization helping young women make better financial decisions. She spoke openly about her mistakes, hoping to save others from the same traps. She deleted most of her old Instagram posts and started using her platform differently. Instead of flaunting designer bags, she shared messages about self-worth, healthy relationships, and the dangers of materialism. She learned to find joy in simple things, a home-cooked meal, a genuine conversation, a quiet evening with a good book. She learned that less is often more. She learned that the best things in life aren't things at all. Most importantly, She learned that when you lose yourself chasing the wrong things, God's mercy can still bring you back. But the journey back is never easy. It requires humility, honesty, and the courage to face what you've become. Maya faced it. And she came out stronger. 2 years after Maya's recovery, she sat in a small coffee shop in Miami, journal in hand, reflecting on how far she'd come. The woman who once couldn't go a day without designer shopping now found peace in simplicity. The woman who measured her worth by Instagram likes now measured it by the lives she touched. She had become a speaker at women's conferences, sharing her testimony about materialism, spiritual warfare, and redemption. Young women would approach her after every session, tears in their eyes, thanking her for being brave enough to share her truth. "Your story saved me," one girl told her. "I was heading down the same path." Maya would hug them and whisper, "Then my pain wasn't wasted." She had learned that sometimes God allows us to fall so we can help others avoid the same pit. Jessica and Ryan now had a beautiful baby girl. Maya was her godmother. When Jessica asked her to take on that role, Maya cried for an hour. "Are you sure?" she had asked. "After everything I did?" Jessica smiled. "That's exactly why. You understand grace better than anyone I know. And I want my daughter to learn from someone who knows that mistakes don't define you, how you respond to them does." Maya still struggled sometimes. There were days when she scrolled through social media and felt that old familiar pull toward comparison and materialism. But now she had tools to fight it: prayer, accountability partners, and a clear understanding of her worth in Christ. She had also forgiven herself, which was perhaps the hardest part of her journey. For months, she carried guilt and shame like heavy chains. But her pastor reminded her of a powerful truth: God doesn't just forgive you. He forgets. Who are you to remember what God has forgotten? Those words set her free. Maya never heard from Greg again. The police searched for him, but he had disappeared like smoke. She later learned through a detective that she was the 7th woman he had victimized. 2 others had died. 1 was still missing. Maya could have been number 8. But God had other plans. She testified at a task force meeting about ritual abuse, hoping her story would help law enforcement understand how these predators operate. Her testimony led to new training protocols and awareness campaigns. Even her darkest experience was being used for good. As Maya closed her journal that afternoon in the coffee shop, she smiled. Not the forced, Instagram-ready smile of her past, but a genuine smile that came from deep peace. She had everything she needed: a roof over her head, food on her table, genuine friendships, a relationship with God, and a purpose. The soft life she once chased had nearly destroyed her. But the simple life she now lived had saved her. She pulled out her phone and typed a final Instagram post. 2 years ago, I almost lost my life chasing things that don't matter. Today, I'm alive because I learned what does. True wealth isn't what you wear or drive or post. It's who you are when no one's watching. It's the relationships you nurture. It's the character you build. It's the faith you hold on to. Learn from my mistakes, besties. Don't wait for life to humble you. Choose humility today. Choose wisely. Choose life. She hit post and put her phone away. For the first time in years, she didn't wait to see how many likes it would get. She already had everything she needed. And that was enough. The end. Wow. What a journey. If Maya's story touched your heart, please like this video and hit that subscribe button. We want to hear from you. Drop a comment below telling us, where are you watching from? What lesson hit you the hardest? Do you know someone who needs to hear this story? Share this video with your friends and family. Maya's story could save someone from making the same mistakes. Turn on notifications so you never miss our next powerful story. Thank you so much for watching from beginning to end. Your support means everything to us. Remember, true wealth is found in who you are, not what you have. Until next time, besties. Stay blessed, stay humble, and choose what truly matters. Bye for now. Red Heart.